Hey, I'm Kev, must go. Welcome back to MotoGP 18 and our summary of the game as we're doing 100% race on a bike we never rode in career mode, and that is the KTM at MotoGP level. We are Bradley Smith. We've got 26 laps of Fiat Pilot ahead of us. Yes, it is the full 100% race. The same settings though, 115% opponent level. We probably could do 120, but I'm starting in last. I didn't see I've had a poor start, so trying to battle my way through the field. Definitely a whiny engine though, that KTM. Seems even whinier than... Actually, the Yamaha, as I said, sounds like a chainsaw. Feels alright. I think it's a Honda I'm thinking of as... Come on, Bradley Smith. There we go, find your head on Nakagami and Mark VDS's. Trying to get ahead of Cal Abraham, I think this is. We've got Sutter in down the order. And you've got the Prius as well, which of course we're very familiar with, as well as someone down in front. Yeah, everyone back off, yellow flag. As we end the first lap, this KTM with the same settings that we used in career mode as well, setup wise. Not too bad, as we've got 3 seconds to make up on the leaders. Easy. That's already into the points. So yeah, in this video we'll talk about MotoGP 18 as, sorry Tito, Bradley Smith on the back of his teammate. Spargo, and you got Bautista in front. And MotoGP 18 is a game I want to say I like. I mean, I played it for 100 hours. Compare that to MotoGP 17, I played that for 120 hours. But it's fair to say, I called it 120 episodes of career as well. But it's compared to, what's it been, like 200 episodes on MotoGP 17, so from the sounds of it, I like my MotoGP games, and I want to really like them. No, it's not a lot of time into them. There's hello, Paul. You're not used to Bradley being in front of you, are you? But MotoGP 18 just feels like such a step back from MotoGP 17 when it should have been this new dawn, this new era for the MotoGP games. The new engine, the first one made on the Unreal Engine, after the previous ones were made on, I believe, Milestone's in-house engine, which they made for the MotoGP games when they got the license back in 2013. And so it was a very old engine. Definitely not like it. And they adapted it for all these different types of games, the WRC games, for the MotoGP games as well, Supercross. Actually, not for Supercross. Supercross always been on the Unreal, hasn't it? Yeah, for quite a variety, shall we say. And kind of the best game on that engine, in my view, was Valentino Rossi the game, because it's just kind of a greatest hits for Milestone. As much as it was a good MotoGP game, I wouldn't say it was actually that good. It was kind of on par with 15. But of course was hindered by its wide scope as well. Covering Valentino Rossi's career and everything, but it just had so much in it, so much content. Even had RC cars in it, for goodness sake, when they had the DLCs and had those in. They had the real events for Rossi's career. They had all the stuff they had for the MotoGP games as well, the real events for that. Well, you just went through Rossi's career, so you had the 125s, you had the 250s, as Suzuki and Cal. And so there's just so much packed into that game. And then you look at MotoGP 18 comparison, and you wonder, yes, it's the first game with this engine, you're kind of feeling it out. But you wonder where's all this kind of content gone? And you also were kind of living their life of the Rossi Academy rider. It didn't kind of make sense when you're at MotoGP level and beating the guy, but it's just a great idea, and they went balls deep with it as well in Milestone. They have not done that with MotoGP 18. Right off the bat, you can tell that from the game modes. I mean, you've got career mode, not manager career like they had in MotoGP 17, which I did miss. I quite like manager career. It was a good idea. It wasn't executed perfectly, far from it for Milestone, but it's just something different. It was nice to have. And so not having that, not having the classic bikes at all, like nothing. They were actually adding to that roster with MotoGP 17. Like you had a full grid of 24 and then 90cc bikes. Or 2000s MotoGP era bike, should I say. Then you had the 500cc's, 250s, 125s. A great variety in just bikes to ride. Even though you couldn't do much with those older bikes, you could just race in Macy in just Grand Prix or do some time attack with it. I never tried to actually do a championship, but I'm not sure you could do a championship with them. I'll have to try that out. But you have none of that with MotoGP 18. You've got career mode, Grand Prix this, championship, time attack. That is it. It's like we've round back the clock to 2013 and this is all you're going to get. Now again, as I said, new first game on the Unreal Engine. I can understand they maybe don't want to put stuff in that they haven't properly tested, like the older bikes, like it might not have all of that handling kind of carried over to this engine. But it's such a disappointment, just not having that variety, that choice. So that is one big mark against MotoGP 18, just lack of bikes. Big plus though, new engine. Yes, the game looks better. Perhaps more importantly from gameplay wise, all the circuits are a bit better modelled. And actually look a bit more realistic. In some cases much more realistic. Couple of cases still a bit weird. Like so with the Americas was a bit weird. Maybe it's just because I'm used to it on the cars, not with the bikes. So yeah, that's still, some models still need to be maybe upgraded slightly, but it is much better. They can gain, the tracks are much better looking as well. Both seem decent. They did change the angle for, I think it was helmet cam? Of the angles, at least for helmet cam, which is a bit weird. And I know many people were pointing it out, going, what the hell is this? But I don't really play in that view, but still, just to change that seems a bit strange. So, big plus point, a new engine. And what they can do with the new engine, maybe that heads into the disappointment of the lack of features as well. That have this new engine where they can do so much more, and it kind of feels bare bones, this of it. Like I compare this game to 2015 for the F1 series, where Codemasters stripped it back, I can't remember if that was the first game on a new engine. Or at least upgraded version of their Ego engine. But they stripped back the F1, and F1 2015 was not a good game. Apparently online was decent after a few months. At that point, me and lots of other people were not bothering with the game because it was just... They didn't even have career mode in it, for goodness sake. It was just championship. Or pro mode, where they just turned everything to all the assist of and everything and made it 100% length races. Which you can do anyway from the options. So basically, I just had in the mode for the sake of it. For marketing reasons, maybe. Just to pad out the game. And they also had it in the F1 2014 cars as well. Which is nice, because F1 2014 was a garbage game as well. So... Again, that added a touch more content. And I guess with this game and what we saw with F1 2050, you can see where Codemasters are trying to go. They've gone in a great direction with career modes. But then there are the same old issues with it being the Codemasters game. There's bugs in that game still from like 2010. Like some of the curves that just spit you out for no reason. They've reduced it, no doubt, but they still spit you out for no reason. It's a characteristic, unfortunately. Luckily, we don't have that as bad with the MotoGP. Okay, so there are some curves which are suspect around some countries. I'm trying to think off the top of my head. Definitely in the middle part of the season. Like Saxon Ring. Like those curves can just spit you out for no reason. But yeah, in general, new engine, upgraded graphics. I know I had to turn off the bloom. I don't know why you're obsessed with bloom, Milestone. It looks absolutely ridiculous. And the motion blur as well. Can't stand motion blur at all. Anyway, in racing games. So yeah, that's a plus. Back to minuses. Career mode. As I said, no manager career. Big disappointment. And then what we get in career mode is, again, stripped down. It was very basic. Yes, the upgrade system's a bit better, I would say, for upgrading the bike. But you can't abuse it as much as well. But in upgrading the bikes felt weird. Like it helped in Moto 3, Moto 2. That was all fast as that. But not in MotoGP for some reason. Every time I upgraded the Premac, upgraded the Aprilia, the handling was worse, it felt like. I'm not sure it's because I was just riding or playing them differently. But yeah, something didn't add up there in the upgrade system. I'm not sure if they didn't fully test it either beforehand. But yeah, adding upgrades, particularly to the engine. Definitely want to avoid that, because that makes your bike go all over the place. Now that I can understand, because it's meant to be a bit more powerful, the bike. But even adding upgrades to the brakes made the brakes feel worse. And I'll go into brakes when you go into the physics, but yeah, it's just weird. Like, riding this KTM feels much better than it did the Aprilia at the end of the season. Again, it's different circumstances. This is just a one-off race. That's career mode, but yeah, it's just weird being off those bikes. So yeah, that needed to be fleshed out a bit better, even though I think the way of upgrading is better than it used to be, because you could just tank out the upgrades in like 2/3 of a season beforehand. Now, even over a full season, we weren't fully upgraded the Aprilia, so That's better. Of course, it pales in comparison to, say, the F1 game's upgrade system, but it's a move in the right direction at least. And career mode itself, starting with the Red Bull World Cup, doing the full season is good. And then you've got the usual progression up the championships. But again, your manager is pointless. It's just missing that creating a team element like we had back in... Was it 2015 or 2016? 2015, wasn't it? Where you create a team. Sorry, Dovey. Alright, Dovey, calm down. I apologised. That was fantastic. Creating your own team. And then managing your own cream in 2017, which is the next step up. And yeah, definitely missed that in career. Especially when you have it in the likes of Supercross as well. And the MotoGP games. Just feels missing in MotoGP. But that seems to be the theme of this game, basically. And then elsewhere in career mode, it's just the usual same. It's just quite boring, actually. Of course, I tried to inject something with the characters and try and build storylines around that. The crunchy style. And then having that little Twitter feed in the loading screens, that's decent. Wish you could see that just on the main screen, like after... Like you have after the races. Just have it on the side as Scott Redding's gone. Like you could have it scrolling on the side like it used to be in the early MotoGP games when it was in the paddock. So yeah, career mode just... The upgrade's alright. Everything else is just very bare bones still. At least they upgraded that kind of stats screen. Now you can actually see your podiums, wins and poles at least. But yeah, I just wish there was a bit more in career. Maybe we'll see that in 19. And then another good thing. I'm not actually sure I have another good thing, to be honest. Maybe the handling of the MotoGP bikes. But the handling in general, not a big fan of. Like on the Moto 3, especially the Moto 2 bikes, I could not ride those things. I loved the Moto 2 handling in MotoGP 17. And then what they did to it, just couldn't handle it in this. Because the handling model seems to be centered on MotoGP bikes. This is when the handling makes sense in this game, when you're riding these bikes. But then these bikes seem to handle much easier than the Moto 2 and even Moto 3 bikes. So the Moto 3 bikes is actually a bit more of a challenge, which is good. Like you can actually kick out the rear now. So it feels like you're riding a push bike. It actually feels like you're riding a Grand Prix machine now. But even then, I said the handling just didn't make sense in my mind. It only connects when you ride these machines, and then they're perhaps too easy to ride. I don't want to say too easy. In the dry, they're much more comfortable, shall we say, to ride. Like if you hit the dirt though, which is another good aspect, if you hit the dirt, you're all out of here. Like clip the dirt, you got to be careful not to do that. That's pretty good. But yeah, just in the dry, like this. Now you see me, I'm not even concentrating really, and I'm up to third against one of the top devotees. And I'm reading in first and second round for it. Like, again, admittedly, probably the easiest circuit in the game, at least with me. But yeah, not even trying. It's just so comfortable riding this bike, this KTM. Now, some people might like that. Like, it does make the bikes a bit more fun to ride than the Moto2, Moto3 bikes. They make more fun to ride than previous games. Not sure. Like, I think I prefer MotoGP 17 and especially for the Moto2 bikes. Moto3 bikes I probably prefer this game because, as I said, they actually feel like Grand Prix machines now. In MotoGP, I don't know, it's a toss-up. Like, I'm not sure they've actually advanced the MotoGP handling in that way where it's a bit more fun. Just because the handling model's meant to be a bit more realistic. You can't have the extreme lean angles like you could on MotoGP 17. Like, you can't go into a corner and just suddenly be like planking the floor while going through a corner. I know it's something they got rid of ages ago with MotoGP 15, I think it was, when they really improved the handling. But yeah, you could definitely lean the rider more. And yeah, I think it's just got rid of the fun factor, unfortunately, is new handling. But that's an issue with the MXGP Supercross games as well. All the handling from alternate games, they seem to be going more realistic, but they're just going halfway. And so you're picking up a game which handling wise isn't realistic, and at times it's actually harder than real life. Like you see with the MXGP games or Supercross 2, some of the landings, they just auto fall on a hard landing, and then some other landings which are similar, they just stay upright. It's just silly. And then you know what they do in real life, it doesn't match up, it doesn't correlate at all. They just made the game harder for the sake of making the game harder. Luckily they don't have that with MotoGP 18, but I could definitely see them trying to do it if they do a MotoGP 19. But then that is a bad aspect of the handling, at least in my view, is the lack of braking feel. Because sometimes it feels like I'm folding the front when I can't really feel it through the controller. And I play with the same controller with 17 to 18. And that ties into the upgrade system where it just didn't make sense. Handling feeling worse, like there was no braking feel at all. So you upgraded the brakes. Maybe that's what led to it feeling worse. And that's what led to me having to record episodes like 30 times because I kept trying to make an overtake and I just fold the front, or I battle the AI and they would just, I just couldn't stop in time. They just wiped them out. So yeah, that's weird, the braking feel. In general, I think the handling model's just in its like prototype stage. Like it's going to get better. Again, it's like F1 2015 to F1 2018. Like you could feel the basics of what the handling was going to be, and they've refined it to F1 2018. That's what I think Milestone are trying to do with the handling with this game at the moment. It's just in its infancy stage. It's just not there. It's, as I say, it's in the halfway house between being arcade, being realistic, and it's just not fun at the moment. As I say, if they do 19, I hope they try and make it more realistic, but that would bring back a bit more of the lean angles. Like Marcus can lean, what, 69 degrees or 70 degrees? Like ridiculous lengths with his bike. And you can certainly do that more with the setup. Now that's another good point. I'll reverse it round. The setups, they actually matter. I remember in the older games, they didn't seem to matter as much. Now they actually do matter, make the bike actually really change the bike. Shane didn't carry that on to Supercross. But yeah, it's good to see setups actually matter. And that leads me to a bad point, is direct riding. Which feels almost impossible at times with some bikes. Just because of, you know, they tried to make it more difficult, trying to make it more realistic. But again, it's just in that halfway house. And you see, I got a very different setup in the wet compared to the dry, which is good. But yeah, just not the biggest fan of the wet handling at the moment. It's better because it's actually different than the dry. But again, I'm not sure it's fully there yet. And I'm sure I'd enjoy it if I didn't have to use assist as well and have to turn up, say, the engine brake and the traction control as well to be able to ride in those conditions. But yeah, that's what MotoGP 18 feels like, these single player wise. You know, it's just work in progress. And that brings us to the AI. So I said physics on the way up, graphics on the way up. AI, they were decent at first, I thought. Maybe a bit too timid. But at least you could battle them a bit better than you could now. There was an update, I can't remember. I think it was in like September. I'm not a poet. But it came out, it made the AI just ultra aggressive for whatever reason. I know people are crying out for the AI to be a bit more aggressive, but this went over the top. They're just kamikazing you, and it sucked a bit of the fun out of recording career after that. I have no idea why they just turned it up to 11. And that brings me on to a point I'd love to see. And just racing games in general on console. Aggression sliders. Like, be able to tune the AI to your needs. Like, it's good to see that we've got a slider for difficulty and that the difficulty is a bit harder now. Like, I can no longer do extreme with my eyes closed. I actually have to concentrate and battle. Well, that's fantastic to see that improvement. So that's another one in the good box. But on the other side of the coin, we have that in Sims. We have it in Automobilista, in Assetto Corsa, in R-Factor, where you can tune the AI to your liking using those sliders. All you need is one more slider for aggression. That's all I'm asking for. No Codemasters, Milestone, Kiloton. Just aggression sliders. So that, you know, when we are battling, like at the moment this would be, say, like 100 on the old aggression slider. I could turn it down to, say, 50 and it'd be more to my liking, where they're not dive bombing out of Alaska down my inside. Like, I can actually tune the AI. That's all we asked for. That's what I want. That's all we were asking for, so we could tune that aggression. And no doubt you can do it with the Unreal Engine, because RaceRoom do it on the Unreal Engine. RaceRoom Racing Experience, where you can tune the AI as well. So you can't come up with that excuse for Milestone. So yeah, if they do that in 19, I hope to see that, not just, as I said, in MotoGP, Supercross, MXGP. I hope to see it in the F1 games as well. I was saying they have it in the Assetto Corsa Competizione, which again is a licensed official game for the series, the Bontplant series. But yeah, just something else to put in our arsenal to tune the game to our liking. Just give us tools, developers. That's what we want. Has he got 5 laps to go? So yeah, that's about career mode. That's about the AI not being that good to race against, but better difficulty-wise. I think for some hardcore players, maybe they're still not quite there with the sliders, with the extreme level. Like, I could match it, but then they made them harder. As I said, with that tweak, making them ultra aggressive, and actually made the difficulty harder. Now, I think that's done the trick for me, at least. But then I'm pretty average at this. Like, I imagine for the esports stars or whatever, they're still not hard enough. But then they have the same problem in the F1 games. But again, they've introduced the slider, made it a bit better. So, yeah, just get... all we need is sliders. Just give us damn sliders everywhere. Again, it goes to my next point about graphics as well. And the optimization, frame rate and everything. Much better on the Unreal Engine. Like, I've had no real issues with frame rate. Maybe the game's a bit more taxing on... I always get these confused. Is it the GPU I'm thinking of or the CPU? Maybe a bit more taxing than they used to be. But at least I'm having no issues recording it. Frame rate's a bit more stable. But you still can get 10,000 frames. And the optimization just seems to be better, which is good. And there's been less bugs. Not as many bugs, from what I can tell. But on the other hand, maybe less bugs, but then some things haven't changed at all. They're changing engine. So in career mode, it's good that the AI get off the racing line now on the pit box. But they do that for like 5 seconds out of the pit box. How about when on a cooldown lap or just on an out lap, they actually get out your way instead of racing you like they are in a race? That is so annoying. And that's why I go out early in sessions in career mode near the end. Just so I can avoid the AI and having that issue. But then I ran into another issue. It kept taking pole. And I think that's because when you go out, the AI go out. That seems to be just an instinctive thing they've coded for whatever reason. I don't know why. And the issue seems to be that when we set a time and just quit, after, say, with 12 minutes remaining in session, whatever algorithm you have to generate that time just seems to mess up. Because we are seconds quicker than in qualifying. When in the race, we're matching. That's what you do in Maverick. I'll talk about that as well. And yeah, it just doesn't make sense qualifying. And so I'm actually having to set difficulty for races. And the difficulty for races seems to be decent. So there's still that step between qualifying and races, that time-wise, which is mystifying. And as I said, the AI are just mystifying in qualifying in general. So that just needs an overhaul, basically. And as you'd seen, sometimes they're still overly aggressive there with Maverick. I don't know why he's trying to brake in my rear. But he seems to be set. On that occasion, I go over to him, I took the racing line back. He was set on taking the racing line, but he's just a bit quicker going into that corner than me. So instead of slowing down, he just ran into my rear and crashed. We just need the intelligence part of artificial. Maybe that's all I'm asking for. But they're good racing each other, just they don't notice you at all, the AI, and they're just terrible racing you. So you actually need to be built in that they just detect objects around them, whether it be AI or ourselves. Because they don't seem to detect us, they detect themselves, and they're good battling each other, they're just not you, the player. And so with MotoGP 18, I do wonder what's the point in single player. I have tried multiplayer. That hasn't changed either from what I've seen. I think I've only raced it like 5 times, but I've only completed 1 race. That's because at a certain point, the host, if the player's been given the host quits, everyone quits. Again, it's not just an issue with milestone games, it's an issue with most racing games. In general, online is not good. But milestone especially, online is just not good in general. Same issue with MXGP, I remember there were many more bugs as well on MXGP Online. Didn't try it with Pro. And then Supercross, again, so many issues and bugs on Supercross. Supercross 2 seems to be an improvement, so hopefully it's an indicator that online is improving with Milestone. But I don't hold out much hope. Again, Ride 3 was just terrible. The problem with online, again, is just stripped down, it's basic. But having to be able to like view private lobbies and trying to join off that way, instead you just have to search. Well, you don't even search. On public, you just say, I want to join a match. Oh, I'm going to put you in a match now. You can't search for what you want. I remember in MotoGP 15, there were like 5 or 6 different game modes for online, and then you could search as well for what you wanted. As, oh god, Brady Smith, hello. So yeah, it's just basic online. Online is just abysmal. Again, just give us choices. Put stuff in the game, put features in. Ragdolls are fantastic and funny. As well, I forgot to mention that. Crashes seem to be a bit better, just contact with AI, they are heavier than you. You go tumbling down on the ground, they just stand upright. That needs to be massively improved. It was improved slightly with patches, but it's still a problem. Like they just have they're just heavy objects that can't be moved. And it just makes it impossible battling them. Like it's just another object in the way to having a good race. There's just so many objects in the way of having a good race that I have to put down the difficulty lower than it should be. Like you probably saw that in the last 6 races of career mode. And I've done that with Ride 3 as well, because again, the AI are absolutely mindless. And it's just impossible to race. And I'm finding that again with MotoGP, unfortunately. It's just a pattern in milestone games. They just don't know how to program AI to battle you. It's better than it used to be. It's just not there at the moment. So yeah, it's a big problem in Supercross 2, but then there's a bit more leeway on the dirt, and in Supercross as well, like there's a bit more racing lines you can take. It's a bit different. MotoGP, Ride 3, you're on circuits, you're racing the same lines basically, and yeah, it's just not working out unfortunately at the moment. So yeah, AI, they just need an overall, again, just not in qualifying, in races and being able to battle them. And as I said, just give us some more tools, give us sliders, and maybe we can tune it. As we came third, did the fastest lap, would have won if we didn't make a stupid mistake on the final lap. As that is MotoGP 18. Now, I didn't cover everything, there are a couple other points. The commentator, totally useless. Once again, find out a way of actually using commentators in games milestone or not bother at all. Like he just speaks over the beginning. There's a little screen before the races on the grid, and then there's a little bit that you see over the podium or summing up the results. Every game, every series, they have that with the commentators, and it adds nothing to the games. Figure out a way of actually having them commentate, or just don't have them at all. Like I don't see the point. Or at least give us the choice to just turn them off or on, like you did with Gravel, for instance. I don't know why you haven't done it with other games. Actually, do you have that option? Let's actually look at options as well, because again, audio option. As I found out with, you can turn voiceover off. That's good then. But as you can see, there's no push to talk option. So in online, I'm having to mute everyone, or I'm not allowed to talk at least with my friends or whatever, because Everyone can hear me. Not even a push to talk option, from what I can tell, at least in online. Maybe there is, maybe you've got to let me know, but when I look at controller options as well, I do not see it on here to like program. You can see all of the options are taken by everything else. So there's no button that I can use for push to talk. Maybe it's on keyboard. Let's see. Is it on keyboard? No, it's not on keyboard either. So yeah, no push to talk option. A basic option in online games, and they don't have it. But at least HUD indicator is okay. No, I can even turn off the ghost and get rid of it. I actually have stages to turn off the ghost as well. That's pretty good. But yeah, in general, is MotoGP 18 a step up from MotoGP 17? That's always the thing you've got to look at. Is it just a better iteration of the game than the previous one? No, it's a step backwards in quite a lot of aspects, and a step forward in minor ones, but building blocks maybe for the future as well. As I said, with handling, with graphics. And I just hope MotoGP 19 is actually the MotoGP 17. Like, you actually have all the bikes, you have even the classic bikes, so you have more gameplay options, more modes, in general, just more features. That's basically what we need the most, is just more features to tailor the game to how we want it, like we have with sim games, like we have with iRacing, with R-Factor 2, with Assetto Corsa, with Race, with Automobilista. That's where the sim side of me wants just more features for us to do. So of course they have it in sim games. Why can't we have it in games that want to be sims, or more casual, more wide audience like this, like with F1? Why can't we have those features as well, basically? But yeah, MotoGP 18, I don't know how I've played 100 hours of it, because as I said, for the most part, for career mode, I did not enjoy it. And I think that's come through in a couple of videos, so I apologise for that. But I played it for 100 hours for a reason, because I like motorbike games. Like, I want to like this game, but as I said, it's not as good as MotoGP 17, not as good as Valentino Rossi the game, MotoGP 16, MotoGP 15. Maybe slightly better than MotoGP 13, but even then, that was a good arcade experience, because it's just ridiculous sometimes what you could do with the bike. So, and same with MotoGP 14, which was a step between MotoGP 15 and 13, and you still had that paddock feel as well. Like, I don't get anything from this background. It was even better with the photos on MotoGP 15, I want to say, where you had photos in the background. Or maybe I'm thinking of WRC4. But yeah, you had those in the background. Like, this UI is a bit slicker, no doubt. But yeah, put something nice in the background. Like on Valentino Rossi the game, I think you had like Rossi moments you could have in the background as well. And then I said MotoGP 13 and 14, I think 15 is where you had the paddock feel, where you're in the paddock. That was pretty nice. Can't we go back to that? Like, even the F1 games are doing that, going back to the paddock feel, but for career mode. But yeah, in summary, MotoGP 18 a step back. I wish it was better. I wish Milestone were better as well. And you know, I just hope MotoGP 19, if it does come out, is just better in general. And if it's going to be an esport game, it's got to improve lots as well. I have no idea how the esports guys do it. I have to look at what the LAN events are like, because online, as I said, is not playable at all, really. And just the races I played today, one race, everyone just felt like the first corner, because everyone's just all over the place, buzzing all around. Not just because it's, maybe if you got it localized where it's all European people, it's a bit better for me. But yeah, I think we had guys from all over the world, and it's just a mess. So anyway, MotoGP 18, saying good riddance, basically. I hope MotoGP 19 is better. I said it's really low down the audit. I said it's probably pushing for worst MotoGP game by Milestone, along with MotoGP 13 and 14 was better. 15, Valentino Rossi the game, I said that's probably the best so far, just because of how much there is, and they probably won't be able to top that. And MotoGP 17 as well was better. So I at least hope you enjoyed the time. MotoGP 18, or 120 episodes of it, plus a couple extra videos as well. And I'll be back with not MotoGP games. I'll be back with Supercross 2, with Dirt Rally 2.0, with Gravel, with Dakar 18, with lots of other games. So thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.